Welcome everyone. So we just finished up the hunting season here in Northern Virginia and wanted to do a quick video on the gear that I ran this year and kind of an honest feedback of what I thought about the gear and how it worked well for me, and you know, everything from doing the review on this saddle that I rocked this year to how I got in the tree and what my actual setup was. So this year I saddle hunted and rocked it all season long. Probably had about 20-30 sits overall. Wanted some more sits, but you know, life happens and everything like that. So this year I went with the XOP Renegade saddle system. I also had the XOP Edge stand, the XOP backpack, and sticks. So it was an all XOP kit that I ran this year. Honestly, went with the Renegade saddle system because of its price. I mean, price point is right there for a budget-friendly guy that can't really afford one of the big, more expensive saddle systems out there. So another awesome thing I love about this saddle is that it's actually a 5-point harness and a saddle in one system. So if I have multiple setups out there and I got some hang-ons and I got a ladder stand and everything like that, I don't have to bounce back and forth between a harness and my saddle. What it also benefits is if I'm in that hang-on and I decide that I'm, you know, got the traditional 5-point safety harness set up, I can quickly transition and make that a saddle setup just as easy using the platform off of the hang-on. Very beneficial, very versatile system and setup. And like I said, I couldn't say more good things about it. Very comfortable. I was able to sit long periods of time in this saddle without any type of complications or anything like that. I'll definitely be hunting out of this for many seasons to come with no issues at all. Have heard some other things about other saddles, just not there, anything like that. And like, this is a great saddle. So strong stitching. Everything that you can see is double stitched on all the connections everywhere they go. When you get this saddle and you first open it up, there's plenty of space in all the straps so that anybody can have this saddle. Anybody can put this on and adjust it for themselves, big, small. You don't have to try to find the saddle to fit you. This saddle goes to you, not you to the saddle. So great. When they thought about that, is definitely making a saddle that can be comfortable and be worn by many. Big seat area that can, you know, accommodate you, a bigger person. You know, I'm 6 foot, 205 pounds, so it's not like I'm a tiny person by any means, but and this saddle fit perfect for me, just the way it is. This is kind of how the setup I rocked it all year long. So First Light Origin hoodie. I love it because it's got the built-in face mask with the tight hood for when I'm up in the tree. And then the First Light Corrugate pants is what I rocked all year long. So another thing, very comfortable saddle. I actually walked probably, I've done up to 4 miles walking around with this thing on and couldn't even tell that I was wearing anything else. So very comfortable, not gonna bind, didn't chafe in my crotch area from the straps or anything like that. So how I typically got ready was I would put my saddle on at the truck. So I would just step through my bridge, come up over my shoulders like this. One thing that I love is this strapping system. So you got 2 buckles, 1 for each side, with hooks in them, so you know exactly where they go. And like I was saying earlier, I have actually folded up my strap and taped it, but plenty of room to adjust as you grow or as you are a bigger person, or if I had to transfer this to somebody else. Or what also in the summer or in the September, you know, I'm not wearing as many clothes and not as many layers, so I would have it tighter. And then as the season went on, I put more layers on, I would extend this thing out so to accommodate for my different layers. And then the next two straps have a completely different buckle system, so there's no confusion on what buckles go where. And there I'm set. Lastly, I got my chest strap to go across for my 5-point harness. So like I said, I got my tether if I was in more of a traditional hang-on setup or a ladder stand setup. And then I got my saddle set up right here. When you buy this system, it's gonna come with 3 6-foot ropes with knots on each end. So you gotta condition the knots and tighten them up. Also with 3 carabiners, 1 for each rope, and each with its own Prusik knot setup. So you have 3 ropes, 1 for your bridge, 1 for your lineman's rope. You can see I have mine connected to my saddle right here, and then 1 for your actual tree tether that goes on the tree. It's in my backpack right now. But it's not specific 1 rope for each. So they're all the same size rope. You can adjust them. Like I said, they're 6-foot ropes in length. So plenty of space, plenty of well more rope than what you actually need. And you can adjust accordingly for no matter what size you are. These loops where your bridge goes across and your lineman rope is connected, super strong, very durable, nice big loops, all right, for easy access. Not super tiny that you're trying to fiddle finding it, when you're hooking up especially when you're hooking up your lineman rope around the tree and you're trying to do it one-handed. One thing I did add for my setup was I got the Wild Country 1/8ers. All right, these things are amazing. All right, one-hand assist. You can loosen it, you can tighten it up as you go up the tree. Amazing, amazing. So I'd be dressed at the truck. Now, what I would do, depending on how far I was walking in and what my setup was that I'm trying to get into, is I would actually take my lineman's rope and I would roll it up and I'd put it in my cargo pocket of my pants to keep it tucked out of the way. As you can see, I don't have any pouches on this saddle to be able to tuck stuff in, so I would rock it that way, just right there in my pocket. I have thought about taking some 1-inch web and having a seamstress sew it right here, so then I can fit in a Molly style pouch. That way I can hold my my tree tether in one side and my lineman's rope in the other, and any other gear that I'm trying to get up into the tree right off the beginning. All right, so this is my setup that I would have on my leaving the truck and walking in. You can see I got my 3 sticks right there. I got my platform on my bag, and I got everything I need in my bag. The only thing else I'd have in my hand is my bow. I'd be trugging along and rocking into the on my way into where I wanted to hunt. Now, the tree I would pick. So typically I like about a 12 to 15 inch round tree, but the great thing about a saddle is you can get in as big of a tree or as small a tree as you want. If you can get your arms around that tree, then it's not too big. All right, you can also get into smaller trees, and then you're not having to worry about branches up higher. You can weave yourself around them. You don't have to sit there and cut them all down like you would for a climber. All right, and then the hang on is just it's a lot bigger and heavier to set up and takes a little bit more time consuming. This is easy in and out and stuff like that. So once I would find the tree that I would want, I'd get to it. I drop my pack, take my sticks off and my platform off, And then I would grab from in here my gear strap for around the tree. I'd put that in my pocket. And I would have my pull rope for my bow. I would hook on to this strap that's sitting right here for the 5-point. This way I'd connect it to my bow, and as I go up, it's dangling here behind me. Once I get to the tree, you know, I drop my bag, pull my sticks off, pull my platform off. Another thing I would do is I have an S-binger that I hook up to the other side, strap that comes up my back. All right, and I can hang my platform off of that, so as I go up the tree. I'd also I took my sticks that I used this year, and I tied a little piece of cordage on there, and then I could hang that with my platform as I went up the tree. So typically, because I ran these longer sticks, I ran the XOP 3 steps, I only would take 3 sticks out with me to the woods, and I was able to get plenty high enough with no problem at all. These sticks are amazing. Denver could not say enough good things about them. They worked really good. They bit into the tree really well. You can see the bracket on there with the teeth. You don't have no problem with it slipping down or anything like that. Also very simple to use. Nice big strap. All right, and I would come around. Hooks on right here like this, and then you just tighten it up. And then what I would do is I would take it and I lock it into place like so. At this point, I'm able to take my tether like so, my lineman's rope, coming across and hook it into place. All right, once I have my lineman rope hooked up, I just shimmy my way up the tree, going up accordingly. And then once I get up to a spot that I like, I can reach over, take off my platform, leaving your lineman's rope hooked up and lean in the back with pressure against it. Now, for me personally, I like to go up and then I set my platform on my left-hand side. I don't know if that's because I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna be shooting this way, but when I'm picking out a spot that I want to shoot and where I want to be from, I'm putting it to where I'm coming up and getting on the left-hand side. And then I always run my strap around like that as well. So I reach across like so, and then I always make sure that I put my lineman rope up high enough where I'm going up underneath, I'm going over the top of it. Here, like so. Strap that in. Tighten it up, making sure my strap is sitting up nice and high. Now, another thing I do is I leave it at a 45-degree angle like that, and then I would come over the top and really push down on it, locking it in position. If I needed to as well, I'd even do that same thing with my foot. Really putting some weight into it to lock it in position, and then step down into it. Once you do that, it is not going anywhere. So once I would get my sticks up, my platform set, and I swing around into my platform, I'd give it a couple little bounces more and make sure it's nice and solid and rock steady. I'd also, from this point, as you can see, I climbed up with my backpack on. That way I'm not having to go up and down the sticks, and the only thing that's hanging right now would be my bow from this string. Alright, everything else is up in the tree, either attached or with me. So I would actually even like kind of pretend and almost like, alright, found the spot I want. First thing I would pull out is I'd pull out my tree strap, and then once I get that hooked up, I can swing it off and hang my backpack. Now I always hung my backpack on my right hand side, and because I'd have my bow here on my left hand side. That way it's easy access to grab, and then I'm shooting to this side as well. Now I played with different heights for the bag on where exactly I wanted it, but I'd set it accordingly like that. All right, so once I got my bag set off, got my tree strap on, got my bag set. Like I said, I like to usually put this about chest height. That way my bag sits and it's easy access, and I'm not having to do anything crazy, and I can get in there nice and quietly. First thing I would do is I'd pull out, and I would have my bag a little bit better organized than the way it's sitting right now. But first thing I pull out is my tree tether. Now I like to put mine about head height, and then I take my loop and I feed it around the tree like so. And then I take my carabiner and I put it through the loop. And then I even like to kind of offset my loop to my right hand side a little bit, because I'm going to be leaning more to my left with the way I shoot. I put a one-man assist on this one as well. And you can see I still have my lineman rope hooked up. And then I tap into my bridge, pull it up. At this point, I can take off my lineman's rope. And now I'm set in with my bridge and my loop. This is one thing I love about these one-man assists, is just that for this simple fact right here. If I can just pull it up with this little safety tab, come down if I need to squat down lower, or so. Sometimes you might have to sit down lower depending on what kind of shot you're in, or you might have to raise it up depending on what kind of shot you're in. And you can also even loosen it up and then come in and flip around. And now I'm hooked up like so. So if I need to shoot behind me, I can turn around if I have time, and now I'm almost like a traditional hang-on stand with this, my bridge and my tether over my shoulder. And now I can shoot like so. Easy spin around, lean back into it again, and I'm set just like a normal saddle. Gives you the options and the versatility that no other stand can give you. So if you haven't made the decision to switch over to a saddle, I suggest you try it. I've only met a handful of people that have done the saddle and then don't like it. Everybody else, everybody I've ever met, they go to a saddle and then they don't go to anything else. They love it. From this point, once I'm set here, I pull out my bow hook, screw that into the tree for my bow, and then, because I'm a filmer, I would set my camera base arm and my camera on the right hand side of me, so that way I can film here to the left underneath of my tether. Also, I can film it on the opposite side of the tree depending on how something's walking in front of me. Another thing I love about this harness, right? So a lot of people don't think they like the shoulder straps coming over the side. You know, for a saddle, you don't need it. It's not really, doesn't do anything for you. This is all set up for the 5-point safety harness for a traditional hang-on or ladder stand. But what I love about it is, and I did it a couple different ways, was for my rangefinder. So this chest strap that comes across the center, I can dummy cord my rangefinder, and now I have it right here, easy access. Just like if I had a vinyl harness on. I'm not a big fan of wearing a vinyl harness in the saddle, just because of the sheer fact that most of the areas I'm hunting in, they're super tight, narrow windows to where I don't even need binos. When the deer comes in, they're within range if I'm gonna see them. So I didn't see a big need for binos. Also, the vinyl harness is just kind of extra space as I'm climbing up the tree and everything like that. It just didn't work out for me. If I did take binos, I'd have them on a little lanyard and I'd hang them on the tree right here on one of my hooks on my gear strap. But my rangefinder, you always need. So I can dummy cord it here, right to the pout, to here, And depending on when I'm wearing this Origin hoodie, I can slide it in the pocket for protection, and then easy one-handed, pull it out, get the range, got my bow in my hand, make it happen. I also had taken a bino or a rangefinder pouch and weaved it into this strap, and that way I can have my rangefinder sitting right there as well. And then this is a 4-power, so if I did need to take a closer look at something, I can always use my rangefinder at the same time. But this is the setup, and then I would sit here for hours on end, just waiting on a deer. So that is my setup of how I rocked this year with the saddle. Once again, XOP saddle, loved it. Don't see myself going away from it or going to another saddle at all in the near time future. If anything, I'm gonna go with XOP again because they're coming out with better and better stuff every year. So go ahead and go over their website and check them out, and tell them Old Breed Outdoors sent them. Hope you got something out of this video, and if you're watching it before the season and you're trying to decide on what gear to get, you gotta get a saddle, and it just opens up the multitude of options that are out there with trees that you can get into, and then just different shooting positions. Depending on the saddle that you're in, you can almost get 360-degree coverage around the tree, unlike a traditional setup. So go ahead, check out our other videos on shooting out of a saddle, and yeah, till then, have a good one, and make sure to hit that subscribe button. Appreciate it.